Man, my guy Deji fought this weekend, and unfortunately he did lose to Alex Wassabi, but there was so much improvement in his fighting, and I definitely want to talk about that in this video. Deji is the reason why probably a lot of you guys even know who I am. Gave me a massive shout out in my early stages of my YouTube career, and I love the guy to death, dude. He's one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. Absolutely humble and just true to himself. Still talk to him every now and again. Phenomenal guy. But yeah, I want to talk about this event, okay? Because this event was all over the place. I was gonna do a live reaction to the event and have a camera up in the corner so you guys could see all that, but I didn't want to be that guy. I was watching it with some friends and I just wanted to live in the moment, okay? I also watched it in my underwear and I really don't think you guys want to see that. Some of you do, but I'm not gonna do that. But dude, there was just headbutts galore in this event. There was like diss tracks wrapped in the middle of the ring several times. A dude ran in the ring in the main event. How does that even happen? The last time I remember something like that happening at such a large event, the dude had a parachute into the ring and he barely even made it. The second he got in there, they drug him out and beat his ass. This dude at this event like ran into the ring and was there for probably 15-20 seconds untouched, like screaming out his TikTok name before somebody finally grabbed him and like chokeslammed him out of the ring, which I thought was hilarious. But it is kind of weird that the security was that just unaware of the situation, that he was in there for so long without somebody touching him. So the first fight was a fight that I didn't even know was on the card. I feel like this was maybe a last-minute addition. At least it wasn't advertised in a way that I saw it. And it was Salt Poppy and Halal Ham. I know who Salt Poppy is from TikTok. He does, you know, the dance where he runs and plays to the Tory Lanez freestyle. But Halal Ham, I didn't know who he was. I think they said he had about 100,000 subscribers. And then there was some random British dude that I didn't even know who he was. I thought the British dude was Halal Ham that started rapping some like improv diss track towards Salt Poppy in the middle of the ring.
But tonight you're about to get boxed and put in your place. Now you're either high as fuck or you're Chinese because your eyeballs look sunk into your face.
Had some borderline racial jokes. I think people are a little too sensitive towards that, but you understand how the world is now. And then they cut his mic off and like kicked him out of the ring. And then the other dude started fighting. It's like, so who is this? I still don't even know. Like, did Halal Ham hire this guy to come out? I really don't even know. Like, I'm still confused to this day, and I've done research about it. Don't even know what happened. But anyway, this fight started and Salt Poppy actually looked pretty solid. I'm a huge fan of fighting. Form wasn't bad. I love how cocky he was in the ring. He was like waving his tongue like Tyson Fury does, and he just had like a natural charisma about him. Halal Ham just, he did not look like he knew what was going on. I don't even know if he landed like a solid punch the entire fight, but it wasn't a bad fight at all. I mean, I think Salt Poppy kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, landed some good shots. He was moving around. They're both bigger guys like I am, so obviously the pace kind of slowed down towards the end of the rounds, but it was only 2 rounds, 2-minute rounds. Let's see, the next fight was Stromedy versus Austin Sprins. Now, I knew who Stromedy was because I reacted to a diss track that he did on FaZe K on my second channel. I had it up for like 30 minutes and then I deleted it because I was just like, this is such a horrible song. And then Austin Sprins had some other guy walk out with him that was rapping a diss track on Stromedy. So like, this was a thing. This was like a common theme that was happening at this event. People just rapping diss tracks at their opponent. It's kind of crazy. Stromedy looked like he did not want to be there at all in the first round. And then Austin Sprins just, he started getting his head beatboxed in. It was kind of a cool little turn of events. So this was another one that wasn't like a horrible fight. You know, there were some shots landed. Nobody was really wobbled or anything like that. But it's kind of the fight that you would expect from these events. Then you had the Anthony Taylor versus Jay Kusi fight, which was the fucking most boring fight I've ever watched my entire life. I think they're both either like semi-professional or professionals, and they were just in there just like barely fucking throwing anything, no power behind nothing. I think I even remember the commentators talking about like, we need to talk to Showstar Boxing about this. This is ridiculous that this is a fight happening. And then we start getting into some more crazy stuff. Ryan Taylor versus DK Money. I didn't know who either one of these guys going into this was, but Ryan Taylor looked like a fucking psychopath to me to begin with, so I felt like this dude was gonna do some off-the-wall shit just by looking at him. And within the first 30 seconds, dude just throws the craziest headbutt I've ever seen in my life. I've seen so many boxing fights where they like hide the headbutts in the fight, where you can really only see him like when it's in the replay. This dude threw a punch, kind of grazed him, got pissed off, said, woo! Right to the forehead. Dude got a cut on his forehead, knocked him down. It was just the craziest, most blatant thing ever. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of boxing, so it's very disrespectful to the sports, but as far as an event like this, I thought it was hilarious. I was sitting there belly laughing on my couch watching this. So obviously he got disqualified for that and should never be allowed to be in a boxing ring again. But hey, if they let Mike Tyson back after biting an ear off, my dude can make a comeback. Then we had Arms Corleone versus Minicon, and Arms is a perfect name for this guy. I was just infatuated with how huge this guy's torso was, and specifically his arms. I don't know if Arms is his real name, but if it is, his parents made that happen. Like, they make that come to fruition. I personally felt like Minicon edged that fight out towards the end, but Arms ended up with the dub at the end. So I guess kudos. And this is where I started seeing a ton of like, this is rigged on Twitter, specifically from Keemstar. And I 100% don't believe that this fight was rigged, okay? But I do definitely believe that the home crowd advantage 100% played into the results of some of these fights, like way more than it normally does. Obviously, Arms is from the UK, Minicon is not, but I felt like it was a close enough fight where it didn't feel like blatantly rigged or anything like that. Then we get to Kristen Hamby versus Vitali, and I thought going into this that Vitali, of all people, would be the guy to just lose his shit and headbutt somebody. Dude walked out with a massive middle finger mask. Like, that's just... wow. At his weigh-in, he was wearing like the one thing just covering his cock. But this is where the headbutts continue. Kristen Hamby was actually moving around pretty solid, getting some punches in, getting out of Vitali's range. Vitali was like punching like this, like... it was weird. But then for whatever reason, Kristen Hamby just started headbutting him. But he was doing like the hiding headbutt where he would like be in the grappling distance and then just like jump into him. That you see it happen all the time. Now, obviously, this is means for point deduction minimum, but it's obviously means for disqualification if it's caught live by the referee. I don't know how reviews work in boxing. If it's like American football or basketball, if they can overturn a decision based on live review and instant replay and stuff. But they ended up calling this one a draw. And without the headbutts, I think Kristen Hamby won like hands down. He was definitely the better fighter in the fight, but they ended it with a draw. I guess you can't really give Kristen a win after the 3 headbutts that he did. Yes, 3 headbutts. I don't know. It was just a shit show of a fight after the first 2 rounds. Then we go to what I thought was the craziest thing ever. The King Kenny versus FaZe Temper fight. There was a judge that gave Temper 1 round. I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, Temper wasn't really like landing damaging blows or anything like that, but every time he punched, he was landing 4 or 5 shots in the combination. And I thought King Kenny won 1 round, maybe 2, just to be generous. And I wasn't for this whole UK versus USA thing because obviously I've got friends on the UK side, I've got fans and friends on the USA side, but this was like a very clear indication that the home crowd advantage definitely took over the score. But I wholeheartedly believe that FaZe Temper won this fight. And then we got the last fight, my man Deji versus Alex Wassabi. I think Alex won by a split decision. And the crazy thing to me is that Deji did phenomenal. It's such a night and day performance from his last fight against Vinny Hacker. Deji was like professionally slipping punches. It was crazy. The head movement side to side was insane. But in the end, I just feel like Alex was the aggressor. And, you know, he was trying to land more punches. He did a lot of work in the clinch. But he also landed an illegal elbow in the clinch that I don't feel like anybody's talking about. Specifically, I know Keemstar wasn't really talking about it because, you know, he was complaining the entire night that it was rigged and the illegal headbutts. How come Vitali didn't win because of the headbutts? Meanwhile, Deji's getting fucking elbowed in the jaw. I was actually super surprised by Alex, too, because the last time I saw him fight was against FouseyTube and he got knocked down. And I think they considered it a TKO because of the standing 8 count or whatever. Deji really didn't throw a whole lot, played immaculate defense the entire time though. And I'd say definitely total punch count, Alex probably landed more. And I was very happy to hear at the end that he is not going to quit boxing, even though he said before this if he loses he will quit. And he dropped a video on his channel talking about like why he's going to keep boxing, and is basically just saying like if he had a shitty performance like he did against Vinny Hacker, then he would understand. It's like, yeah, I need to hang this shit up. But he had a great performance. Everything wasn't really tied in together yet. So I truly think if he has like one more camp where they work more on his offense to throw and let his hands go more, dude's gonna be dangerous, man. He's quick as shit. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on the event. I personally liked it, even though there was some chaotic stuff happening to it. I would buy it again. It was $10. This wasn't like the Jake Paul Triller event that was like $50. That was for 3 fights and a slap fight and just an hour and a half with concerts. I hated that event so much. I felt like this was genuinely entertaining. It kind of took me back a little bit more towards the OG YouTube boxing event stuff, like the original KSI Logan Paul fight. But that's the end of this one, guys. I love you. Shout out to my man Deji, and shout out to everybody that won on this fight. And yeah, there probably won't be another Showstar boxing event just because of how much outrage there was over FaZe Temper losing. But I love these YouTube events, man. I really enjoy watching them almost as much as I love watching normal boxing events. It's fun to me. It's just fun. But that's it. Love you guys. See you guys in the next video. If you're new, subscribe. That'd be great. I'm dropping an album within the next month. There's a little tidbit. See you guys.